Cool. Now you know how to categorize people within the quiz, but we need this to be an automation. So what we want to do is we want to go to our automation right now. So because of that category, we are going to be able to select people from that. So we back out of here. We're going to proceed. If you made any changes, it's going to think that it needs to save. It doesn't. Run over here to automation. Follow my cursor. And so from this, we're going to go into our automations. What I'll tell you with automations, keep them all within a folder. You can see here, PrettyQuizCodes automations. I have them all in one folder. I don't have to go anywhere else for them. I don't want to go anywhere else for them. I would like to keep them all together. This makes it really easy on my life. But you see here where I have a hot lead email drip sequence, and then I have the cold lead email drip sequence. Those are the sequences that have all of the emails within them, but you need to put together this quiz submit tagging first. So there's 1, 1.2, and then 1.3. So let's go into 1 first, PrettyQuiz submit tagging. Now we have our trigger at the top. So first option is that we got triggered by the hot quiz submitted or the trigger of the cold quiz submitted. What does that mean? Exactly what we just went over in the quiz itself. Someone submitted the quiz, they clicked on that, I want to see it now. And so they got tagged with this because their hot score was between 50 to 100. And you saw before that I gave them a score of 90. So that just guarantees that they're going to have it. And then same thing. So for the cold quiz, exact same thing. So quiz name is landing page quiz build, and then the cold score between 50 to 100. I gave them a score of 90 whenever they clicked on that cold score. And that's exactly what they got.
I know you're finding this video super helpful right now, but if you wanted to just copy and paste some codes and have an outstanding quiz up and running on your website in the next 5 minutes, then click the link in the description.
So from that, we're going to create a contact for that individual, and then we are going to create that as a condition. We want to have the condition that the workflow is hot quiz submitted and or the workflow is cold quiz submitted. The reason why we're doing this is because we know where they're headed and what's happening. But with that, it gives us conditional branches, and this is where the tags come in. So whenever that workflow trigger is submitted as that hot quiz, it's going to add that quiz, the hot lead tag. Within that, we have our hot lead tag branch, and then we have our cold lead tag branch. And so this is all we're going to do for this first area. I'm going through this quickly because I just want to show you. I just want to give you like a quick behind the scenes. If you do want this, then all of this is available if you're in my affiliate program. I just give you all of this and then show you how to create it all yourself. So then we go back to our workflows. Now that those tags have been added because someone submitted the hot or the cold, they're going to go into that drip sequence. These drip sequences are the exact same in the way that they're structured. They're completely different in the emails that are going out, because if someone wants to buy right now, they need a specific amount of information. They need very specific information for how to buy. Someone who just wants to see the free product and is on the fence about if they're going to buy from you, they just want more information. They need to maybe build trust with you, see you as an expert. They don't believe that what you're offering can actually help them, even though you know that it can. They don't know that yet. So that's a very different pieces of information that need to go out. So from that trigger, it's whenever that hot lead gets added to the potential buyer. And so from that, that's going to send out an email. That's the first email that happens. It triggers, hey, you submitted the quiz. Here's the email. I know what you're looking for because I was able to tag you. So the email goes out. You want to wait for a day for it to open. And then you want to check for that hot lead tag. So the reason why this is important is because if someone submits a payment or if someone buys the product, then all of the tags are going to be removed and they're going to get kicked out of this workflow, this drip sequence. That's important because you need to make sure that every single time it's checking for this tag, so that way they're not just stuck in 3 to 4 different email sequences, if that makes sense. This clears everything out. So, they submitted the quiz, they go into this drip sequence. So they're going to get these emails. If they submit the payment and they get the product, then it removes that hot lead tag and they become a paying customer. So they get tagged with that paying customer tag. They're no longer in this drip sequence for a hot lead because the hot lead is going to keep trying to sell them. They've already been sold. They don't want that information anymore. You want to make sure that you have that, because if the conditions are not met and they don't have that tag, then it's gone. So now we're checking, was the email opened? Was it even opened? If yes, then it's going to wait 2 days and then it's going to send the next email. If not, then it's going to wait 2 days and it's going to send them back up and it's going to send them another email, right? So right off the bat, if not, then they're getting that email one with a new subject. And then we go on to, it's going to wait for if it was opened, if it wasn't opened, or if it was, it's still moving on. It's going to check for that hot lead tag again. And so that's the system that it runs for every set. So it's going to check and see, was the email opened? If it was, then it sends them through to the next branch. But before that, most importantly, we check for that hot lead tag. And then if it still has that hot lead tag, that means they haven't bought. This goes all the way through for a few days. You can make this go as long as you want. I try not to spam. I just kind of let people be. I know for myself, if I got a bunch of emails, it wouldn't help me. I typically keep a good tab on what I want to use and what I don't. And email doesn't exactly sell me on that anymore. It's more so about what I'm in need of at that point in time. I know that sounds strange, but I just think email is a little different now, at least the way that I use it or interact with it. So go back to our workflows because I want to show you what I was talking about within the cold email drip campaign, because it's going to be the exact same setup. It's just geared for engaging the audience that didn't want to buy from you. They just wanted your free stuff. Okay, so the exact same. We get the checking the contact tag, which is the trigger for cold lead. And then let's check this and let's see. So the trigger name is different and it looks like I have an error in mine. So always double check. It looks like I didn't save something correctly, but you want to make sure this is cold lead. Always checking for cold lead. How funny is that? Tag is added and we need to go back in and add that as the cold lead contact tag added. And that just changes what you see up top. So once I save this trigger, then they're going to be given all this information. None of this will save unless you go up to the top and click save, which you should be doing. I think I didn't click save. I backed out of a browser and that can ruin your entire workflow. So make sure that you're always going back and saving your work, especially if you do it little by little, because if you mess up or you get kind of distracted, it's gone forever. But that's going to happen. The cold lead email takes place. They get their first email, waits for a day to see if it's opened. Now, if it isn't opened, then it'll go through this sequence. But before even checking if it was opened, we want to check and see, do they even have that cold lead tag anymore? Because I want to make sure that they are in need of this cold lead information. If they're not, if they came back and they bought because they looked at what you gave them in the free resources and thought, oh, I do need what they're offering, then they don't need to be in this anymore, and they need all the information that's going to be given out through the other information in the sales pipeline. So what we have is the same thing. Was the email opened? If not, then the email with a new subject goes out. If so, then it waits a day and then it sends that second email. And then it's going to wait for that email to go out. It checks for the cold lead tag and then it does it again. So it looks like the automation starts here, but it doesn't. It technically, once that email is sent, that wait a day is just right after that email, and then it triggers everything else. So you're just having a day in between the emails that are going out. I recommend doing that because it makes it a little bit easier on the person buying. If they didn't buy right away, yes, you want to make sure that you get them. But studies show that if you haven't sold them within the first 2 minutes, then you've already lost 90% of the opportunity. So it's more so about building trust at that point. It's not about spamming their email with this, maybe I can give you more money off. Because if someone wants something, the price doesn't matter. Like if you want something, what do you want right now? Like something you want to buy. And if it's something that you really want, you really need, you're not really going to care how much it costs. If it's something that you really want and need, and it's going to help you in your life move forward and make more money, something of that scale, or if it's going to save you tons of time, right? Like you're not going to care. So that's what you're trying to build trust on and sell them on. And that's more important. And that's kind of what's going on in these emails. I'll go through that more specifically later on, but it goes all the way to day 4. Again, day 4 is when I kind of let things drop off and move on. And if they don't want it, then, they don't want it, but they'll come back to you. Sales and marketing and the way the buyers engage is very different nowadays. So they're going to find you across different points. and you want to have tons of information going out. So videos like this, how can you be of service? How can you help? That doesn't mean giving all of your stuff away for free. That just means whenever someone's in a pinch, like a time pinch, or whenever someone just wants an answer or needs guidance from someone who's a trusted resource, you're there, right? You're the one that answered that question. If that's going to happen, if that happens routinely, then you're going to be fine, because the top of the funnel, the people who are aware that they have a problem, but they're not aware of you, or maybe they're not even aware of the problem, they find you, and some people are quick to buy. Then you get to the middle, which is middle of funnel is someone is aware of the problem and are now aware of your solution. And then bottom of funnel is they are completely aware of your ability to handle the problem and how quality the solution is. At least that's the way that I look at it. You can kind of readjust that a little bit differently, but that's how I like to see it. So I hope that was helpful. That's just a little more information on sales and marketing. And if you found this helpful, then I think you're going to find this video helpful next. It goes over some information on how to build quizzes and save you some time.